Hey, I like thanks to my nigga them. We gon' play with them pistols here. We smoking dank in my liver, yeah. We get shit wet on river, yeah. We get shit wet like the river, yeah. I wet shit like Austin Rivers, yeah. Hey, check me out. On my side is getting wicked, nigga sliding. Mama told that boy to shake the city, so he ride. On that Mac, it be a titty, show no pity when we diving. Roll your brother in the gang before he hitting, why you hiding? OG now be dropping bags, no I don't, bitch, why you lying? MN's closet popping tags, spent 5 racks on my designer. Put 15 up on your ass, but that's your ass.
Hello guys and welcome to the podcast. Today this is the CFB podcast, right after week 12 of college football. There's not too much to talk about. We had a few upsets, but besides that everything kind of went like we thought it would go. The biggest upset I think is Georgia being Tennessee, which we did not expect. We both said that Tennessee was going to beat Georgia after Carson Beck had like a couple bad games. But I mean he really, I think, made up for it with this game. He had 62% completion, 347 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, he did his work. I think. Oh, and a rushing touchdown. So he made up for it a little bit. I mean, at least against a good team. Like, and better than it
He
was
still gotta
before.
prove himself because of these last 3 games, that man, I don't know what's going on through
Yeah.
his head.
I saw people giving him like a. I don't know if we talked about this on the last episode, but they were giving him like a ceiling of Daniel Jones on the floor of Will Levis, which is crazy considering that they just benched Daniel Jones. Besides that, everything else kind of went the same. Colorado, uh, I don't know how to put this lightly. They gave Utah the belt. Um, Penn State continues to be undefeated, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and that will probably stay like that unless they get an upset, because I don't think they're really facing any big
No, they lost,
competition.
bro. They're 9-1.
They're 9-1? Who they lose against?
What do you mean, who they lose against? They lost to Ohio State, bro.
My friend, Penn State did not play Ohio State.
Penn State's? Penn State.
Oh, wait, I see what you mean now. I had to scroll. Sorry. Okay, yeah, they're 9-1 because the only competition they played is Ohio State. For real, for real. But besides that, everything is pretty much the same. Yeah, there's not much to talk about besides, now there's like the Heisman hype is kind of like starting to ramp up a little, with Travis Hunter starting a trend this week of doing the Heisman celebration after touchdowns, which has started with Travis Hunter, and I think Ashton Genty did it, and I think some other players did it too.
I don't know why the players did it, even though they're not in the race, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Only Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter, I think, were valid for doing it. I
I
saw
mean,
I saw Deion Sanders saying that he, not that he was worried, but he made a comments about like people shouldn't um make the decision on Travis Hunter because of him. Like they shouldn't vote against him just because they hate Deion Sanders. Which like that this is my question. Like, are there still a lot of people who don't like him?
bro, there's people that hate on Colorado just because of Deion Sanders, bro. If it was,
But
if Deion Sanders was literally somewhere else and it was just Travis Hunter and like Shador there, they wouldn't even get as much hate as they do right now. Like
but I mean,
that's
like
literally
he
how it
hasn't
is.
been in the league for so long. Like, what? Why do they hate him?
bro. They only saying that just because of his kids, bro.
Mm,
Like they, and then there's the fact that like people really try to flip it on, saying like, oh, he's not even going to be there next year. He's going to be coaching the NFL, which that's not even what Dion wants to do. Dion said it years ago when he was at Jackson State that he's even if he gets an opportunity, he's declining it because like
mm,
as people, a lot of people don't really notice, but as a coach of young men, coaching them up to be better men and take over the NFL is totally different from a lot of men in the NFL that have huge egos, bro. Like that's it's not the same thing. That's like
yeah.
why people won't give him his flowers. Like literally 2 years ago, Colorado was literally 1-11. And then literally last year they had a little slow start. They were about I want to say about 4-8, and then now
Yeah.
come on now. Like you have to at least give them the flowers because
Now they're like what?
people don't the 8-2. People don't
8 and
understand the
2,
fact that
yeah.
like, bro, just because they're not playing too many ranked teams does not mean they are not good. Because if that's the point, we could say that about a lot of ranked teams that are losing to unranked teams easily. Like, I've said this for the longest. Rankings do not matter in college football. Rankings don't matter in football. Period. If I'm being honest, it's like in every level because anything can happen. Anything can go either way, and then there could be players that are injured. There could be game changing plays at any second. Like I don't care if Penn State lost to Ohio State. It's
Yeah.
bound to happen. There's going to be some teams that are good, that are both good, and they're both going to lose. That doesn't mean that Ohio State is way better than Penn State. Or that doesn't mean that Oregon, just because Oregon beat Ohio State, they're way better than Ohio State. Same thing with Georgia and Bama. Same thing with Tennessee and Bama. Tennessee and Georgia. It's so much other stuff that people won't take into account. So I'll be saying like if you don't give Dion his flowers, bro, right now, then he's gonna make you regret it later on because the program he's building, bro, is insane. Like you telling me 5-star number one QB in the nation coming out of high school, Julian, possibly committed to Colorado next year, and you saying that just because Shador and Travis gonna be on the team and has nobody? Come on now, bro. Their receiver room is stacked, defense is stacked. Like there's you have to give them their props. If you don't, I'm telling you, bro, it's not going to end well for you because at some point he's probably going to win a few bowls, bro. I don't know about like champ chips, but he's going to win a few bowls, bro. So I'll be saying like it doesn't make sense for you to hate on somebody that's changing programs, bro. That you don't see too many people doing that these days, especially now with a lot of recruitment problems, especially when there's even more talent being out there. Like,
When
come on, bro.
is signing day?
Signing day,
That's like in February, right?
it's about February, March, around there. That's when you that's around like the first time of people will sign, depending on like whether you're academically, because some people they would literally be signed like like first semester of their senior year in high school.
Yeah.
Like some people will skip the second half of their senior year. So it really depends on like who it is.
I saw
But
two players decommitted um from USC and one of them went to Colorado, the one that you sent me, and one of them is going to Miami, which let me get who it was real quick. Like I saw it just now today.
yeah, that's happening a lot now. Even bro, FSU has it the worst, bro. They have really have
Yeah.
no 2025 receivers at all. Like there's so many
I
people
saw a bunch
decommitting
of
from
people
everywhere.
decommitted, yeah. Which I mean it makes sense. Like they're not playing well, like what are you gonna
I
do?
mean that's true, but that's not even a skill issue, bro. That's a coaching issue, bro. Like it went completely downhill from last year.
Um Hidden Low. Hidden Low decommitted. And he was like a 3 or 4 star edge, I think. And he just decommitted. Linebacker.
Yeah, there's
Four
a
star, four
few
star.
decommitters going on. Even
Yeah.
with Julian, he like it's not even confirmed that he's actually going to Colorado. He still has a few options that he might go to, but Colorado is like the favorite right now. He's already taken like 4 visits there. Like he's been over there too many times. Like they literally they changed the rules of like how many times you could visit just because of him. He's been going back so many times because of that. So I'm not surprised if we actually go to Colorado. If he goes to Colorado, bro. Everybody else
I
is in
mean,
trouble, bro.
I would like even for this edge, like it's smart to go to Miami because they need defense. Like it's smart.
That's that's true, but I mean, at the same time, you don't want to take any opportunities away from yourself, bro. Don't like that's what I be telling people. It may be a top school, but it's not guaranteed for you to even start or touch the field or not even just outside of actually playing as far as recruitment. A lot of people don't really know this, but even most of the top schools, a lot of like NFL recruits don't even actually go towards those top schools a lot. They will probably show up like once or twice a season and that's it. They don't really be doing that. They go more towards like not the smaller, like more of the Power Four schools is the thing. Because Power Five, they're guaranteed to go to the league, so that's not even a
Yeah.
problem. But I don't know. I feel like for him though, Miami is a smart choice. But if we're talking about defense, there's a few other schools that he should probably look into. Tennessee is one of them. Tennessee's defense is insane, but Georgia just went off.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to tell like what schools are really like building up where everybody loses to each other. So I don't know.
I have a question for you. Would you rather go to a school where you're guaranteed a spot, like your position they need at that school? Or would you go to a school that you would have to compete for your spot? Like, let's say you're a wide receiver and you go to UM and you have to compete with like Xavier Restrepo, for example. Like, would you choose that, or would you choose a school where you know that they're missing in that position and you would be guaranteed a spot?
Thing is about that, it depends on the scenario. If I'm a freshman coming in, I'm not getting a spot either way. Like
Mm.
it really doesn't matter where you go as long as if it's a
Even
school
if you're
that
like
like
a five
they
star?
really need that position. Bro, I'm telling you that why you think Bama is always so stacked? There's literally 4 or 5 stars that sit on the bench. Feel me? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like it really depends on like what your status is pretty much. So it's like if I'm taking a chance of going into a UM, OSU, or Oregon receiver room, I would rather take my chances with going to like Oregon over UM or just completely going to a totally different school. Because I'm like if it's a school to where their receiver room is like that receiver room you're not getting a starting chance and you have to compete. You competing is more than likely going to take you a whole year. I'd rather you work in silence and you get your chance after that year instead of you literally trying to compete the whole time and then you don't even touch the field. Like
Yeah.
at that point, you might as well like fall in line and pretty much do what you need to do. Especially with like schools like OSU. OSU, come on now, bro. We are the OSU. That's wide receiver university. We're not even finna no. Like that's come on now. But I don't know. From me to like the average person, I would go with a school I would know I have a starting spot at for sure. Because it's like you have a starting spot. There's no telling what's gonna happen with that school. You could get it. You could either raise your status and easily just enter transfer portal and ball out somewhere else, or go to a crazy school and then you struggling for like 2 3 years just because you only got a
Yeah.
starting spot. So I don't know. I'll probably take the the starting option. To be honest.
I guess on the note of of these what ifs, what position would you have played? Like if we had developed like younger and like gone to the way like had an actual like football program to go to when we were younger, like what position do you think you would have ended up playing?
Bro, you know the positions, bro. Like I was literally in both sides of the
Quarterback,
ball.
right? Well, yeah, I know, but like which like if you had to choose just one on offense and one on defense, let's say.
One on offense, one deep for sure. Receiver and DB, 100%. Like that,
DB or
I've
corner?
either I'll say nah, probably corner instead of just regular DB. I
Like
would do
Travis Hunter?
safety, but corner is better.
Yeah.
Cause like bro, a lot of people don't know, but growing up in like certain areas or like certain times, you're literally bound to play multiple positions on no matter what sport
Yeah.
you play. Like that's literally how I grew up. As soon as I touched the basketball, I literally went from point guard, shooting guard. Then I started getting taller. Was at PCA, went to power forward, and then sometimes me and you switching in between power forward and center. That's literally how it like was for me growing up. Ever since I touched the ball, I've always been moved around. That's why with football, I'll literally go lock something up and then go hike the ball and then run 50 yards for a touchdown. That's literally how it was because I literally grew up with people around me like that. So that's why it's secondhand nature when people come from like certain areas. That's why it doesn't seem normal to outside people. But in
Yeah.
reality, that's mad normal because almost everybody in my family, like all the guys, we've all played multiple sports and multiple positions in each sport. That's why it's literally secondhand nature to a lot of people that grow up like that. So I, every single time somebody asks me position, receiver and DB, simple as
Yeah.
that. Like that's the two most like dominant positions on the field besides your running back and your QB, and then probably like a linebacker on defense. But those two go hand in hand every single time. That's why we see Travis Hunter dominating with no problem.
Yeah.
He knows all the secrets to both sides.
I think if I had actually, because I'm obviously like skinny and stuff, because I didn't go to the gym a lot growing up or anything. Like I stopped doing sports because I stopped being like athletically available, if that makes sense. I stopped growing and height was kind of like the
You got
one thing
old,
I
bro.
focused.
That you
At
got old.
PCA,
That's like
at
what it is, bro.
PCA, we didn't have like weight training or anything, and so I didn't have anyone like outside of that like to give me like, oh, you should go to the gym or anything, and like, look, I'll show you. Until like Eric showed me in high school. But like if I had developed like muscle, like if I had done muscle growth since middle school and like played football and stuff, I would have probably done like I would have probably moved either like back to like a fullback or like kind of like halfback position. Like not because of speed, but because of just like pure like strength of like getting in there. Or maybe like a smaller tight end. But besides that, like I don't think I would be able to play receiver just because I'm not like athletically gifted like that. Like I'm not like a maybe a slot receiver, but like I'm not like a faster or very like positionally minded like that. I have hand-eye coordination, but I do not have speed. So I think it would be either like tight end or like a halfback or fullback. And then on defense it would probably be like a safety because that's kind of what I always did. And I mean I liked playing that. I would have probably been like a free safety or something.
I
That
mean, it
that
was different
that
for you
position
though,
felt
because like
comfortable.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you were like taught one thing, like one way. So
Yeah,
it's basically like what you are like what you've known the whole time. That's why it's easy for you to easy play safety, and then you had me at corner. Like you were literally
yeah,
back up, and then nothing would get past us because you were mad comfortable. So it was like when you switch positions, that like
yeah,
secondhand nature is pretty much gone. That's literally why a lot of people would stick to the same positions, or they would do like the alternative to that position. Because we see in the league, some it will be some corners or receivers that have played the opposite position. So that's kind of why, like with you, safety, it will for sure be like safety or even a outside linebacker on defense if you have the what do I say it? Like if you have the drive for it, basically, if you're able to get into the hole every single time, and then
yeah,
on offense is easily halfback. And I would say you're more of a wideout instead of a slot because the slot was more of me. I wasn't the tallest, but I was the fastest, so I could
yeah.
easily get in between and run slants all the time. With you were a wideout, so you were easy, and then also you were the tallest. That's why, like with you,
Well, now I'm not the tallest.
you're
Like now I would probably be
well,
different because like I stopped
yeah,
growing.
because that's tough.
Yeah,
Because if y'all don't know, I was really like probably one of the shortest boys. Now I'm taller than him, so that says a
yeah,
lot. So that's tough. But for certain people, slot is not easy, bro. People really think slot is easy. That was probably one of the hardest positions I've ever played, bro. Especially because like growing up, I played a little bit of tackle football, but it wasn't too much. I was more of flag because like of the area I was in. I wasn't
yeah.
around a lot of like tackle football teams. But once I got into tackle, bro, slot was really the hardest thing for me to do because people don't understand it, bro. You being a slot, you gotta be swole. I don't care how fast you are. You're gonna get hit at least of like 3 times during the game by a linebacker that's 6'4",
Yeah.
230. Like, yeah, that's why I be telling people, bro. Slot is not easy, bro. That was probably the hardest I've ever gotten hit, just off of like one play out of my
CTE.
whole football career, like literally, bro. Is and no, bro. I literally got a concussion from flag instead of tackle football.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Like, nah, bro. It's not easy, bro.
I could have probably been like a kicker too, like just a punter. Like I would have probably had fun because like if I trained in punting that football, like I probably would have gotten good at it. Because like even from like when we were younger, like in 8th grade, when I started kind of just kicking the ball for fun, like I could get it pretty far. Not very accurate, but I could get it pretty far. So like if I kept training that, I could have probably been a good punter. Just because I
Yeah,
think I naturally have like more leg strength and upper body
yeah.
strength.
That's what I was saying. Like that was kind of for a lot of people in our class. So, like,
Yeah,
even with who was I think it was Daniel. Daniel, he was more on legs because he played soccer,
yeah.
but he was able to get the ball like mad far. I think it was me, you, Daniel, and then Bobby. Us four were literally like the strongest people that were easily able to punt the ball. So that kind of makes sense. I've thought about doing kicking too, but after like a few months, bro, nah, bro.
Yeah.
That mental thing it has on you is actually insane, bro. Like NFL kickers to honestly be paid more for how much stress they have on themselves, bro.
You have one job, and it's like the most stressful job ever.
It really is, bro.
I think before we end, we gotta talk about like the one upset I think surprised a lot of people this week, which is the BYU Kansas game, which I don't think anyone was expecting BYU to lose that. I think that was one of the biggest surprises of the weekend. What did you see in that game? What happened to BYU, do you think?
I I don't, bro. It was like they were shook, bro. Like I, it's because like right now is like a mad critical part in the season, bro. Like this is what really determines people going to college playoffs or even being bowl eligible. So like everybody is fighting their hardest to get those spots. But it's like with for some reason every single time we see a top school or like a high ranked school going against a lower ranked school is always like something that switches, bro. It's like the higher ranked school's hunger is really just gone. Like they're out there clueless. And then a lower ranked school is literally fighting their hardest to make sure that they secure the dub. So like with BYU, bro, I don't know what happened, bro. Like honestly. Because like I think their defense wasn't too bad. It wasn't like much of a problem, but their defense wasn't doing good enough to stop all the scoring, and that's what really messed them up. Because I mean, they're not too much of an offensive school. Like they can for sure score. They can move the sticks and get the ball downfield, but it's their defense that really like saves them a whole lot. But I don't know, bro. That whole game, I was shook because I really thought like they were gonna whoop the other team, but bro, it was bad, bro. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened with them.
I was surprised too. Like when I saw that, I did not expect them to lose because Kansas State beat Kansas as well.
Yeah,
So it
that's
was a
what it was
surprise.
weird, bro. Yeah. Bro, nah, same bro. Even with Florida LSU, that was actually
Oh my
surprising
God, I saw
because
that.
I don't know, like, nah, Florida was playing pretty good. Like they're starting to actually pick it up, which was I think I told you like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
They started to pick it up, but with LSU, bro, I'm telling you, once LSU gets out of that extra gear, it's literally wraps for them because it's like their whole mental state is off, and then like they're not even focused.
I didn't even realize that they're not in the rankings anymore. No wonder I felt like something was missing. That's crazy.
Telling you,
Wow,
bro.
I didn't even
That's why I be telling
notice.
people rankings really don't like. It does not matter how high you are ranked. You lose to a not even ranked school, your rankings are gone, bro. That's why I be telling people rankings don't matter. Especially once it gets to like a few weeks in, like around week 7. That's when everybody starts like whooping high ranked teams, bro. Like rankings really don't matter. But same thing with NFL. It really does not matter, bro, at all.
That's why I thought we were missing something. The LSU Florida game. And Louisville. Louisville was ranked and they got beat out by Stanford. So
That's
now
just better though.
both of those schools are unranked now.
Yep. Hey man, that's tough.
It happens.
Uh,
It happens.
that's tough.
Rip to them.
Oh, but I think what happened with LSU though is that it's like once they lose to a team like they know that they can beat,
Yeah.
is like their play style, like how not even just not matter of fact, no another play style, like how they play, the outcome of the game is literally determined from that last game. That's kind of how LSU is. Because literally once they lost, bro, it was bad for them. Because like they've been on the decline ever since. And so I don't know. That's kind of how LSU is, but same time they're on a rebuild right now because they have a
Yeah.
lot of big names over there, but it's still not enough to be like all these twos that are like all these schools that are like well oiled, bro. Their chemistry is too good for LSU right now. So it is what it
Before we
is.
end, before we end, like random bit of trivia that I learned today. The quarterback of BYU, Jake Retzlaff, is actually the first Jewish quarterback like ever to play at BYU, which is a primarily Mormon school, which I found pretty cool. I found that out today. It's a pretty neat piece of trivia, I'm not gonna lie. It's like
Yeah,
the
that's
most
starting to
random
happen a
thing.
lot now.
Yeah. I feel like I don't like I feel like first them like in terms of like race or ethnicity in college football would be a lot more rare. I don't know why. Like maybe because I guess there's so many schools where like if it does happen, like it would just become just like, oh, like it's just another school type of thing. But I mean, it's an interesting thing, I guess.
Mm,
Have there been Jewish
I
players in the NFL?
yeah, I mean they're not like I mean I wouldn't say some aren't known, but like they're not as talked about as much
But
as
there
like
are.
other people. But yeah, there's for sure, bro. There's almost like any kind of
Oh, like Josh
um
Rosen.
yeah, like there's almost like any kind of religion in the NFL to be honest, because
Yeah.
there is so big to where there's a whole bunch of players. To
Yeah.
like every roster really has minimum around like 45, 50 players. So that it only makes sense for you to have a bunch of people from different religions
Yeah.
and ethnicity. So
Just cool piece of trivia that I found out today. But yeah, I think that's it for college football. If you guys haven't, please watch previous episodes if you want. And also, we will be putting out an NFL episode at the same time as this episode. And besides that, we'll catch you guys on next episode, which will hopefully be out around Friday or Saturday if we do it right. So yeah, thank you guys and goodbye.